my dad, who had the special magic finger. And when you pulled it, you got really wonderful sound effects. It's genetic. My dad passed it on to me, and I passed it on to my sons. This is really cool. I got to do a song about that particular subject. It's called the Monkey Farts song. You know, before I do, there's a lovely little story that goes with it. There's a young lady just about to go out on a blind date with a young man. The doorbell rings. She opens the door to greet him. As she does so, she gets this overwhelming urge to break wind. And it's a big one. It's been in there for a couple of days. And she's panic-stricken. The guy is standing on the doorstep right in front of her, and she doesn't know what to do. And she thinks, well, when I turn around to go to the closet, I can get my, to get my coat, I can unload it back there. And just as she turns around, her mother is standing there holding the coat right in her face. And she says, oh, Mom, thanks a lot. And then she thinks, well, he'll walk me down the path, around to the passenger door of the car. He'll open the door and I'll sit down. Then when he's walking back around the car to get in the driver's door, that's when I can drop it. And that's what happens. The guy walks her down the path, around to the passenger door, like a gentleman. He opens the door for her, she sits down. He walks back around the car. Well, as soon as she hit the seat, she threw the 2 feet up in the dash, and she let it rip.
Oh my God.
2 days worth, filled the car. The guy slides into the driver's seat beside her. He said, Mary, I'd like you to meet my mom and dad back here. My father came here from his home in Ireland. He was quiet, but they said that he was wise. He and Mother did their best, gave us a home and all the rest, but to talk to us he never had the time. Sure, he'd say, pass the butter or come here, young man, or keep quiet or no, you can't have a dime. Till the day that I was leaving, when Dad finally found a reason for sharing his philosophy of life. He said, a monkey fart should smell like a banana. English fart should smell like cups of tea. The farting of a fairy should be very light and airy. When a father farts, I hope you'll think of me. Irish fart should always lilt with laughter. It should melt your heart and melt your shorts as well. A lion's fart should roar with power. Cuckoos should fart every hour. A nun's fart should have meaning but no smell. A strong man's fart should sound out like a trumpet. A pretty girl should barely even squeak. But the person you can trust is the one who'd rather bust than ever let one rip right on the street. Now from my old man this really was an earful. I tried to understand just what he meant. His words were primitive but strong, so I wouldn't get them wrong. He was saying to be careful as I went. He was saying to be happy as I could be. He was saying watch my step and as I passed, to beware who I looked up to and whatever else I might do. Know that most of what you get from folks is just escaping gas. Escaping gas. Sing it with me. He said a monkey fart should smell like a banana. English farts should smell like cups of tea. The farting of a fairy should be very light and airy. When a father farts, I hope you'll think of me. An Irish fart should always look with laughter. It should melt your heart and melt your shorts as well. A lion's fart should roar with power. Cuckoos should fart every hour. A nun's fart should have meaning but no smell. A strong man's fart should sound out like a trumpet. A pretty girl should barely even squeak. But the person you can trust is the one who'd rather bust than ever let one rip right on the street. Thank you. Unfortunately, this is the kind of subject which, if it is not handled with great delicacy, can quite easily veer off into the tasteless. So before that happens, I've got one more short story for you, and then we'll let the matter drop. A young man had been going out with a young lady for about a week, and she invited him home to meet her parents and have dinner for the first time, and he was very nervous about it. So on the way to her house, he stopped off at his local saloon, and he went in and he had a couple of beers, a couple of pots of Boston baked beans, some fried onion rings, a couple of pickled eggs, and a chili dog with sauerkraut. Consequently, he developed what we call in Ireland a ball of wind inside him. So he goes along and he meets the family. The introductions are made. They're all sitting at the dinner table, and sure enough, it starts to react. And he feels one working its way down, seeking exit. And he tries to release it with minimal embarrassment to himself and his hosts by performing the one-cheek snake. Unfortunately, it was a scorcher. Ripped its way out, and the poor guy was absolutely embarrassed. He didn't know where to look. And the girlfriend's father lifted the tablecloth and said, "Rover, get out of there." Well, the young fella thought, thank God he thought it was the dog. Well, a few minutes later he feels another one working its way down, and this one's about to touch cloth. And he tries to release this one with minimal damage to his undergarments, but it was another ripper. Blasted its way out, left his sphincter frayed at the edges, and the poor guy totally mortified by now. He doesn't know where to look at all. And the girlfriend's father lifted the tablecloth again and said, "Rover, get out of there." Well, the young fella thinks, this is fantastic. I can get rid of all my wind. He's going to blame the damn dog. So a couple of minutes later, he feels another one dropping. He doesn't try to hide this one. He just cocks the leg and lets fly. Splash the guy beside him. Eyes of everybody sitting around the dinner table. Their eyes are watering profusely by now. The wallpaper's bubbling and blistering and peeling off the walls. And the girlfriend's father lifted the tablecloth again and said, "Rover, get out of there before he shits on you." I'm glad we finished that before it got tasteless. The two Scots ladies are sitting here in front of me. They're making those big basset hound eyes at me. Because I promised them a song earlier and I haven't got to it yet. And they're doing the big basset hound eyes things, you know. They're even more pathetic when they do the basset hound ears at me, you know. Big floppy ears hanging down on their shoulders. So I'm going to do your song for you now, okay?